Hi, it's Andrew from Qualified in Noise and Mess, and this is Building Whilst Having a Brain Tumour, end of week 3. And behind me you can see the roof face of the back of the house. Look at that. Okay, and ladder, double ladder going up, which I'm using to climb it because the roof battens are brittle. They're way more so at the front. The ones at the back are kind of trustworthy, but with my sense of balance, I don't think so. So what I've done, I've got this extending ladder, put it up the roof. It's wedged on the scaffold planks. It's rock solid. So any health and safety nuts out there that want to criticise me, save it. I'm not interested. I am not going to put myself at risk. If I fall over, it's because of my own stupid balance, nothing else. Anyway, end of week 3, what have we achieved? Well, it's been a week of progress and sort of progress. It'll become obvious in a minute, so let me show you around. Right, so ladder going up the, well, little itty bitty ladder going up the roof. You can see some new battens there, don't worry about them, I'll get to them. And it goes pretty much almost to the top, and there are no ridge tiles on the top now. They came off. So what did we achieve? Quite a lot. Sorry for the clanky boards. My brickie turned up. I only had him for 2 days. Knew about that. He's not run off and left me. That was planned. He was able to squeeze 2 days in between 2 holidays, and so that's my good fortune. And considering there was a lot of planning, because the bricks we've got, although they are imperial size, they are very regular, whereas what is on the house already is of a variable nature, shall we say. And he's done his absolute best to get the perps, the vertical joints, perpendiculars, to work with the old bricks as much as possible. It's not completely possible, but hey, there you go. That's what happens when you add things onto old buildings. It doesn't exactly match unless you're using exactly the same materials, and we can't, because the bricks that are in the original house, steeply sparapec'd, I am told. Tell me if I'm wrong. And what we're putting on is Carlton Priory pinhole 73mm, which is the closest match I can get. Hey ho. But so I had him Wednesday, Thursday, blocks on Wednesday, bricks on Thursday, and I started off by getting 200 bricks up here, and we haven't done too badly. We've got a few left. Where are we? 2, 4, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 40, 50. There's probably 60 bricks left up here. We need a few more, as you can imagine. And we got some insulation, cavity wall insulation in as well. That's not all of it though. What we have done, sorry, clanky, 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 is off the old brick to underneath the new first course, put a cavity tray. This is a piece of plastic that basically goes along, goes down, goes along, and if any moisture, oh god, I nearly broke my ankle then, let's try not to do that. If any moisture goes down the cavity, it will hit that, and at some point or other it'll run out through one of these weep holes, and they are, Matt, they're covered up, can't have that. Let's talk to her about that. They'll run out of the weep holes, so you don't get your cavity filling up with moisture. It's not going to happen anyway because it's going to go over top with everything. And we have wire ties, stainless steel. I think it's 750mm horizontal and 450mm vertical. So basically a block and a half to 2 blocks, and then 2 blocks vertical. Whatever it is what you can see. Okay, and they are stainless steel. Here's an example of one now, with little zigzags in them, so that if any moisture falls onto it, say a drip falls onto that, highly unlikely, but never mind, it'll fall off before it runs in. That's I believe the point. So there we go. These blocks are Fiberlight 7.3 newtons. So what that means is a newton, if you remember your high school physics, is roughly 1.1 kilos in terms of mass. It refers to 7. This block can withstand, without crushing, its crushing strength is 7.3 newtons per square millimetre. So 440 by 100, that's a lot of newtons that can stand. It's a strong block. Now then, so that's all that. This temporary... Oh, actually, what you didn't see, I'll show you a photo now, is that I had to cut the bottom of the rafters off so that we can get the bricks in. It's kind of important. And I was having a squeaky bum moment about that. So I put a diagonal brace on both hip boards, you know, that one. And I've walked on that roof, so I know it'll take my weight, so that's okay. But what we've done is we're never going to seal it 100%. What we've done is to put the old guttering down the back with the roofing membrane, so it sort of wedges it against the blockwork. So as much as possible, we're preventing any rain, on the off chance that we get some, from getting in. This face, on the other hand, can't really see it because we're looking into the light. The battens are just unbelievably brittle. I mean, look at that one, that higgledy-piggledy one. I think I just barely touched that with my foot and it went, no, not playing anymore, sorry. And just snapped off. I mean, the nails are rusted through. If it wasn't for another few years and there would be a problem here in terms of sheets of tiles sliding down because the battens just can't hold them. It's the weight of the tiles holding each other up, and you can kind of see that on our neighbour's roof. I'm not going to tell them, it's not my job to. But if you see that row of tiles, right, keep that in mind, and the one below and the one above. Right, let's just go back to the end. Sorry, I'm trying not to trip over our telephone wire. Yes, telephone wires. Right, so if you have a look along, if you can, let me just change the contrast. Zoom in a bit. Oh, hang on. Let's try that again. Right. You might just be able to see. You see how the rows of tiles are uneven. They've slipped as a result. So what they will probably need to have to do at some point in the relatively near future, 2 to 5 years, is get somebody to take all the tiles off, not me, refelt, rebatten, relay the tiles. The tiles are basically okay, but anyway, that's not the progress. So before Matt the Magic Bricky came, I was working up, let me zoom out, working up a profile for him to finish off to. I ran out of time and I ran out of energy as well. I am really, really fatigued because when Matt was here, I was on day 4 and 5 of my latest chemo cycle, and I didn't do too bad. I was all right. It was okay. So I changed things. Instead of taking it in the morning, which would lead to me just being absolutely drop dead fatigued, I took it in the evening. So if I'm going to be fatigued, I can be fatigued while I'm asleep. Thank you very much. And that seemed to work. But I do have to take more breaks than I otherwise would. I mean, before all this nonsense, that's a sheep in the field you can hear somewhere. I don't know what that bird is. I think that's a wren. Anyway, back in the day, I would just work through all day, no problem. Can't do that now. So I have to take breaks. They say listen to your body. Yeah, I would, but it's speaking a complicated foreign language. Anyway, so what I was doing was building a profile so that it's got something to work to the correct angle. So it's 35 degrees that way, 35 degrees that way. And also when I have to chop lumps out of this roof, which I will do sooner than I really want to get the ridge beam in, which is another issue entirely. I've got something to throw a tarpaulin over and it be supported. That's the idea anyway. So that's what happened this last week. Oh yeah, let me show you this. So in getting the site ready for Matt, it wasn't just getting materials up here, which is important, but also preparing the site. So there we have the remains of a pack and a half of bricks, bag of building sand, pack and a half of blocks. There's 40 left there. But what I also did, I've been Matt's apprentice, his labourer this last couple of days, and so I'm making sure he's got all the materials he needs where he needs them, i.e. up here and not down there, and mixing mortar. It's not cement. Cement is the grey powdery stuff that you mix with sand and water to make mortar, otherwise known as muck, compo, monkey muck. I don't know how you would arrive at that. I don't think I'd want to stick bricks together with monkey muck, but who knows, I might be missing out on something. But what I also did for him, when you're running a cement mixer during the day, you end up with deposits on the inside, and if you don't get rid of them, it builds up and your mixer becomes unusable. So during the day, as part of my duties, I've been washing the mixer out and getting rid of crust as best I can. Ancient crust isn't my problem. So what I did, and it's a thing I did on a previous job for Matt actually, was to dig a sump. And that's a pit about 300 or so millimetres deep. Taken the turf off, dug dry, crusty, sandy, crappy soil out, and then the mixer washout pours in there. That's ruined your lawn. Yeah, the lawn is rubbish anyway, it's going. We need it as a parking area. So what happens is, at a suitable point, sorry, when I mix of water in there, it'll have sand and cement in it, and the water will just percolate, filter into the environment. That's fine, but the solids will settle out, and you can see them. Let me just zoom in for a bit. There we go. Let's focus on. Oh, too far. There we go. So you can see froth, crust, sand, cement, mortar, you name it. So that's what I've done. And when it gets to a point where you think, yeah, it's getting perhaps a bit full, it won't do on this job, is we dig the solids out, straight into a skip, go again. And that's a technique I introduced Matt to probably about 1 million jobs ago for him, but on the last job that we worked together on. So there we go. Now, hopefully this week coming, Matt's not here. I'm going to be bringing materials up so we can have a fast start next week the week after next, a week tomorrow, we can have a fast start and get some bricks and blocks going. That's good. Sorry, what was I going to say? I've lost the oh yes, sorry. I'm going to need the scaffolding updating so that he has a table, so it's known as a table. So another platform at, I think we said 2 meters, so we can get to the ridge and put the pad stone in. What have I done with the pad stone? Oh, you can't see them from here, unless you see those blocks. And there's a creamy coloured one next to it. That's one of the pad stones. Very tough concrete blocks that you can put steel on. So he'll need to be able to get to work to the top of the gable. I will need the scaffolding amending. This board is really, I'm going to swap this board out for another one actually. I think it's a pain in the arse. I will need a platform probably at about 2.5 meters so that I can get onto the roof of the dormer and fiddle faddle around with all that lot. And I'm hoping I can get the scaffolding company to come and do that. Hello. Sorry, just saying hello to our neighbours. Just having their tea outside, I won't disturb them. Hopefully I can get the scaffolding company to come and do that this week while Matt's not here. But yeah, we'll see. They are very busy at the moment. So there you go. That is the progress last week, week 3. And we'll see what happens. We're making the most of the good weather. Well, trying to. And I'm just mulling over whether it is feasible. I mean, it is whether it is feasible, doable, to get this ridge beam up with 4 burly blokes and an electric hoist. Well, it is. I know it can be done. That's not the problem. Getting it up here, dead easy. Getting it into the roof, dead easy. What's it going to sit on? Because the existing first floor ceiling, not really designed to take that sort of weight. And how are we going to get it onto the padstone in the chimney and on the gable? I'm veering towards getting a crane. It's expense and I don't want to spend it. But if it has to be done, it has to be done. And it would save a lot of aggravation. And it would look quite spectacular. So we'll think on that. I'll get some quotes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do appreciate that. Oh, one other thing. There's always another thing. If I get the scaffolding amended, I'm going to get the winch properly hoist properly braced off the existing scaffolding. You can't see it from here, but that pole is bending at that joint, and that gives me the heebie-jeebies, especially with the weights we're lifting. And if I'm going to lift 140 kilos of steel, I really do. Oh, you can see how it's bent. I really don't want that snapping off, because things and people would get broken. Don't want that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely week, and let's see what happens. Probably won't be a video next weekend because I've no idea what's going to happen this week. All I'm going to be doing is moving materials around, so there's no point videoing that. It's just boring as hell. So there we go. Anyway, have a lovely week. Best.